Football, 100 Million Simulations to Football King, Episode 21. Head coach Gerd, who was in his office listening to the radio announcement, was drinking coffee when he suddenly heard Su Long score and almost scored. Scored. Little player Su Long scored a precious goal of gold in less than 10 seconds. The exact time is 8 seconds 6. Give me a little time, I need to check if I broke the record for the fastest goal in the senior league. Yes, our record for the fastest goal in the senior league is broken. Congratulations to Su Long, a new young player who joined the OE2 team this year. Gerd was silent. His original idea was to let Su Long develop a good season in the second team, and if he could cash in on his talent, he would recruit Su Long into the first team. Now it seems that Su Long's talent has been fulfilled. In the senior league, Su Long's goal seems to be really too easy. On the other hand, on the side of the first team of OE, the situation is not very good now, and the last 3 rounds have lost the game, from the middle level at the beginning to the relegation zone now. Golder is well aware that if he is relegated back to the Bundesliga this season, his head coach will be out of class. Is it time to transfer Su Long back to the first team? If you were transferred back to the first team, then the original 3 strikers cooperate for 2 seasons, and Su Long replaces one of them. Will there be the original tacit understanding? Gerd doesn't have a score in mind right now. Just as Gerd was considering whether to recall Su Long, there was an excited and hoarse voice on the radio. It's in again. Number 9 Su scored again. Oh my god, is he a bomber possessed today? I really didn't expect Su to give us such a big surprise. He comes from the mysterious Dragon Kingdom, and he seems to have mysterious magic on his body. Now I'm thinking about his future. Golder glanced at the time, now only the opening 10 minutes, Su Long scored 2 goals? Su Long himself was also surprised. He also had no idea that Goslar's defense would be so lax. The players of Goslar, as if they had not eaten, were exhausted. To be precise, there is no spirit of the spirit. The defense is very perfunctory. For such enemies, Su Long naturally did not pity them, but to beat them hard. 1 goal and 1 achievement point. Isn't now a good time to brush up the dots? Soon, Su Long scored a hat-trick. But Su Long was not satisfied and continued to call his teammates to pass the ball. The teammates had been watching 3-0 in less than 20 minutes, and everyone was a team in the relegation zone. Save some face for Goslar, and save the Goslar dog from jumping off the wall. But after a few kicks back and forth, the ball went to the feet of Blackpool, a good friend of Su Long. Blackpool saw that Su Long had been signaling for a pass, so he passed it. Immediately afterward, it was time for Su Long's performance. Su Long single-handedly overturned the Goslar back defense and successfully scored on the edge of the penalty area. 4-0. All 4 goals were scored by Su Long. Happy senior year. El on the sidelines shook his head. Goslar, this is obviously a problem inside the team, and now no one in the team has the heart to play well. Such an opponent can't even play the role of testing the 451 lineup. After that, OE scored another goal. In stoppage time before the end of the first half, Su Long fired a long-range shot that once again blasted open Goslar's goal. 6-0. Su Long scored 5 goals alone and completely played the game. In the second half, Su Long was replaced. Alemero's name is to protect the Sauron. Su Long thought in his heart, he knew that you would be like this. Fortunately, he scored 5 goals in the first half. Su Long followed the voice and looked back. It was Nelly, and they smiled and said hello. Then looking around, the Red Dragon national flag appeared in the audience. This was something Su Long hadn't expected. At a glance, I knew that it was the Dragon Country compatriots who had come to support themselves. Su Long was looking at the audience, and the people in the audience were also looking at Su Long, especially the scouts who come to visit. There is so much to write about this game. Record fastest goal to score, 5 goals in halftime, flexible pace, skilled technique, precise shooter. It's just the potential of the explosion, and it's Dragon Country from the football desert. They wrote their opinions, comments, and scouting reports in their little books. 45 minutes passed quickly. At the end of the game, everyone in the OE2 team was happy, just like the new year. 9-0. Both teams have forgotten how long they haven't played such a crushing game. In addition to Su Long, there are 4 other teammates who have scored a goal each. For the second team of OE, it is a happy ending for everyone. For Goslar, it was a disaster. The head coach of Goslar went back with a gloomy face before the game was finished. The Goslar players on the field finished the game and withdrew in frustration. After the game, El smiled and said, "Don't be too happy too soon, next week's opponent is Hoffenheim." The players heard El's words and said wordlessly, "Coach, you don't want this. At least make me happy for one night." El smiled and said, "I'm afraid you're going to get carried away, so get a good night's sleep." Su Long did not feel much about next week's opponent, because the last time OE2 was bloodied by Hoffenheim, Su Long had not yet come to Germany. Now Su Long is most concerned about how many achievement points he can get in this game. Ding! Congratulations to the host for scoring 5 goals in a row in the game, rewarding 10 achievement points. Ding! Congratulations to the host for being the first Dragon Guaren to score 5 goals in a row in the game, rewarding 10 achievement points. Ding! Congratulations to the host for breaking the record for the fastest goal in the German Football Advanced League, rewarding 100 achievement points. Existing achievement points, 131 points. Su Long's eyes lit up. It turns out that there are so many achievement points to break the record. Suddenly, he felt rich. Episode 22. Scoring goals earns you get achievement points, and breaking records can get a lot of achievement points. Su Long probably understood what the achievement point was all about. As the name suggests, it is the system's reward points for achievements. Now that the achievement point is rich, Su Long wants to simulate it. Hurry up and improve your strength. Maybe you can bloody Hoffenheim in the next round of the game. Su Long thought about it. It is not very convenient to simulate here in the stadium, or go back to the dormitory. At this time, Blackpool and a few young players were discussing going to dinner tonight. Today's big victory, let's eat something good. I can't stand eating in the cafeteria every day. Su, your Chinese buffet in the Dragon Kingdom, my favorite to eat. Yes, Chinese buffet, go. Su Long smiled and said, okay, today I please. After all, I scored 5 goals today, and I can't do without the support of my teammates. The most important thing is that Su Long knows that this Chinese buffet will not be too expensive, about 15 to 20 euros. Even if the whole team is less than 500 euros, at least he will not be too bankrupt. Coach you together. Elle smiled and said, you young men go. Remember not too late tonight, I will check in at 10 o'clock. Several big brothers in the team said they wanted to go home to spend time with their families, but they didn't go. The remaining 10 young people under the age of 20 are all young players who have risen from the youth team. Chinese buffet go. Blackpool said excitedly. Now the city used to be about an hour, just in time for dinner. To be honest, Su Long does not like to eat Chinese food here, because compared with the real Chinese food of the Dragon Kingdom, German Chinese food cannot be said to be different, only that it has nothing to do with it. Sweet and sour, fried, polysaccharide, feel is McDonald's skinning and sweet and sour version. Just out of the stadium, Nellie's big blonde waves came over again. Hey, Su. Congratulations on your big win today. Su Long smiled and said, thanks, Nellie. Then thanks to a few more blonde big waves. Seriously, Su Long was very grateful in his heart. Nellie still wants to celebrate with Su Long, but Su Long says that she wants to go to dinner with her teammates, and Nellie regretfully says next time. Su Long nodded and said, well, next time. As he was about to leave with his teammates, he saw a few Dragon Country fans in the audience not far away. These few Dragon Country fans may have seen many people on Su Long's side, and they were embarrassed to come over for a while, but they just looked at Su Long from afar. So Su Long and his teammates said, wait a minute, I'll go over and say hello. After all, in a foreign country, a small league, you can meet your own family. Su Long is also exceptionally happy and rare. 5 fans, 2 of whom were young and beautiful little sisters, saw Su Long coming, and Kazalin's big eyes were shining. Su Long, hello. Su Long, the 2 young ladies exclaimed, a look of joy. The 3 boys next to them are a bit wooden. Su Long also did not know why there were so many young sisters among foreign fans, and the quality was very high. Hello, I saw the flag during the race. Su Long pointed to the red flag they had put away. Yeah, we're here to support you. It's rare to see one of our strikers in Germany. Su Long's heart was warm, and he smiled and said, thank you for your support. We will continue to support you, Su Long. Yes, when we don't have classes, we'll come and see you play. Come on, Su Long. Su Long asked curiously, are you all students? We are all students at the Twickau University of Applied Sciences. Su Long, can we add your QQ? A little sister asked nervously. Su Long nodded and said, of course. Soon, Su Long and a few fans and friends added QQ. Su Long looked at their happy looks, felt that he was also very happy, smiled and said, then I will go first. Today is the team dinner. Well, bye-bye. The 2 young sisters waved goodbye reluctantly. At this time, the 3 boys around them were thinking in their hearts, did they do something wrong to take them to see the ball? Su Long quickly got into the car, and when he got in, Blackpool was still whistling. Su, you taught me how to make a girl. No way, handsome is born. Soon, the group came to Twickau. The Twickau Technical University, where those fans attended, is here. Twickau is a small town next door to OE. If OE is a village, then Twickau is like a small county town, eating, living and playing a lot more. There is only Chinese food in Oge, while in Twickau, there is a Chinese buffet. Today Su Long, they are going to come to the buffet boss to eat bankruptcy. Blackpool took the plate. First of all, take a few pieces of zhuozhongtong chicken, then a few pieces of sweet and sour loin, and then a bowl of Li Hongzhang's miscellaneous pieces. When these people were eating, they still talked about the history of the Dragon Kingdom. Li Hongzhang is a very famous Grand Duke, and Zhuozhongtong is a powerful general in the water army. Su, am I right? Su Long listened and ate at the same time. How did they feel that the history of the Dragon Kingdom they talked about was a little strange? But because Su Long's history is also very sorry, he can't say anything strange. At this meal, the crowd returned with a full load. 15 euros per person, a total of 14 people, only spent 210 euros on Su Long. After eating, I went back to the dormitory before 10 o'clock. Back in the bedroom, Su Long lay down on the bed and began to simulate. Do you use the football career simulator? Use once to consume 10 achievement points. Yes. In 2003, when you were 17 years old, you made your debut on November 17th and scored a hat-trick in the game. After that, you complained about the referee in the match against Hoffenheim and won your first red card. Because you still verbally insulted the referee when you went down, you were eventually banned for an additional 3 matches. Su Long's eyes widened, and he added 3 more suspensions to his red card in the next game. This football career godlike plot. Episode 23. In the same year, on Christmas Eve, you were officially promoted to the home team of Air, did not score 1 goal in the first 5 games of the Bundesliga, suffered a goal drought, complained about the referee, but was fined and banned by the German Football Association. In 2004, at the age of 18, with 5 goals and 1 assist, you failed to prevent OE from falling into the relegation zone, and OE successfully relegated and returned to the Bundesliga. In the same year, you were selected for the training list of the national youth team, participated in the training of the national youth team, and because you were dissatisfied with the arrangements of the team leader and the coaching team during the training, you were refrigerated by the national youth team, and you quit the national youth team in anger and threatened never to join the national football team. In 2005, you were 19 years old, and at the end of the season, you became the Bundesliga red card king, and you received 3 red cards in 1 class. In 2006, when you were 20 years old, you sat firmly in the position of starting striker, scored 35 goals in the Bundesliga, became the king of the Bundesliga goal scorers, and led the team back to the Bundesliga. In 2009, when you were 23, you led the team to the Bundesliga with 21 goals. In 2010, at the age of 24, you couldn't adapt to the rhythm of the Bundesliga and were relegated to the Bundesliga again. In 2011, at the age of 25, you suffered a torn cruciate ligament injury during a race and went to the best Charity University hospital in Germany for surgery. In 2012, at the age of 26, you moved to Red Bull on a €1.6 million contract, and in the crucial promotion playoffs, you hat-tricked the team to upgrade to the Bundesliga. In 2013, at the age of 27, you became the Bundesliga striker again with 29 goals, helping the team to upgrade to the Bundesliga. In 2014, you were 28 years old, you became the first goal and assist first in the team with 11 goals and 10 assists, helping the team to upgrade to the Bundesliga, and because of many times to help the team successfully rush to the first division, domestic fans honored as the Bundesliga God of War. In 2015, you were 29 years old, you did not score 1 goal in the first 12 games, and then you encountered a goal shortage in the Bundesliga, but you were valued by the management and coaching staff, and you still got a lot of playing time. But good luck seems to have left you, and at one of the races, your cruciate ligament was torn and injured again, and you went to Charity University Hospital again for surgery. In 2016, you were 30 years old, you were recuperating, you terminated your contract with Red Bull, became a free man, and joined the Bundesliga team Wayne. In the same year, you refused to be called by the national football team, and published the shady scene of the Football Association in the media, and was banned by the Football Association. In 2017, you were 31 years old, seriously injured in the middle of the season, and the rank was reimbursed. In 2018, you are 32 years old, the end of the season, you only scored 1 goal, and you did not renew your contract with Wayne. After careful consideration, you have decided to retire. From then on, your football career is completely over. Simulation ends, you now have physical attributes 26, technical attributes 30, mental attributes 30. Choose one of the 4 options below. 25-year-old physical attributes, score 33. 28-year-old technical attributes, score 34. 28-year-old mental attributes, score 34. 32-year-old life experience. Su Long felt that from that red card, this plot was out of control. In the last simulation, OE directly upgraded the Bundesliga, and then the Bundesliga. This time it was actually downgraded? It then took several years to upgrade back to the Bundesliga. What's going on in there? What's going on? Su Long read it again and thought about it again in comparison with his last football career. The development from 2003 to 2005 was much worse than the last simulation. Everything started with the red card at Hoffenheim, and in the next 3 years, he fell into the red card dilemma, which seriously affected all the development of the future. In 2005, he also became the season red card king. Football career has given such a hint. Su Long's heart was full of doubts. At the same time, this time the simulation results, there is a place of progress. Su Long is very satisfied. It is the time of serious injury that has been postponed. Before they were all 18 years old, 19 years old, 20 years old, 22 years old, these nodes were seriously injured. Since then, his progress has begun to slow down, or even stagnate. And this time the career simulation, at the age of 25 years old, was the first serious injury. Su Long's temporary speculation is due to the characteristics of the Iron Man, and after quitting the national football team, he did not have to participate in the national football competition, and his annual rest time increased a lot. These two factors are combined, and the time point of his serious injury is postponed. In addition, through these two career simulations, it seems that his current strength is enough to gain a foothold in the Bundesliga league. But the Bundesliga is much higher than the Bundesliga level, resulting in his triple-Go Bundesliga journey that has not been smooth. Even a 24-year-old at the peak of his football career, or a 28-year-old at the peak of his technical and spiritual career, will not be able to gain a foothold in the Bundesliga. I don't know how many ratings are needed to get a foothold in the Bundesliga. One is the red card, the second is the time point of serious injury, and the third is the gap between their own level and the level of the Bundesliga. These are the three most important questions of Su Long. Su Long decided to simulate it a few more times. I was preparing to start the simulation again, only to find that the properties of the simulation had not yet been selected. Select 25-year-old physical attributes. Your current physical stat 33, technical stat 30, psychic stat 30, Iron Man trait. Do you use the football career simulator? Use once to consume 10 achievement points. Yes. In 2003, when you were 17 years old, you made your debut on November 17th and scored a hat-trick in the game. After that, you retaliate against your opponent player in a match against Hoffenheim and get your first red card. At the end of the game, your smiling action was considered a mocking act by the referee, and eventually you were suspended for an additional 3 games. In the same year, on Christmas Eve, you were officially promoted to the home team of Air, and in the second game of the Bundesliga, you received another red card for the applause. In 2004, at the age of 18, you became the Bundesliga red card ace with 2 red cards, and successfully brought OE into the relegation zone with 11 goals, and OE successfully relegated. Su Long frowned, the red card still appeared, so the probability is not a random event, but an inevitable event. In 2003 and 2004, it was still plagued by red cards, but because of the increase in strength, it still changed the fate of OE's relegation. Although the description of his football career is simple, compared with many football careers, this red card has a great impact on the first half of his football career. Episode 24. In the same year, you were selected for the training list of the national youth team, participated in the training of the national youth team, and participated in the Asian Youth Championship with the team, but did not play too well. In 2005, at the age of 19, you suffered a torn cruciate ligament injury during a race and went to the best Charité University Hospital in Germany for surgery, and the season was reimbursed. OE was relegated. In 2006, when you were 20 years old, you recovered well, scoring 23 goals in the Bundesliga and bringing OE back into the Bundesliga. In 2009, when you were 23, you scored 14 goals and led the team to relegation. The development after that, not much different from the last football career, lingered in the Bundesliga, and the Bundesliga, until his retirement. In 2017, you were 30 years old and decided to retire. The simulation is over, you now have physical attribute 33, technical attribute 30, and mental attribute 30. Choose one of the 4 options below. Physical attributes of 19-year-old, score 34. 28-year-old technical attributes, score 34. 28-year-old mental attributes, score 34. Life experience at the age of 30. The attribute score of this football career has increased, and it has pulled the crotch even more than the last time. Moreover, the intensity of the Bundesliga game is insufficient, and his attributes have been stuck at 34 twice. The difference between this football career and the last time is mainly that he participated in the national football training camp in 2005 and was seriously injured the following year. Nima, the national football team is poisonous. Su Long thought about it and decided to watch the 30-year-old's life experience. Choose the life experience of 30 years old. This important moment of football career moments instantly flooded into Su Long's mind. After reading this life experience, Su Long was silent. This time the 19-year-old broke his foot, and the national football training was indispensable. Su Long had just finished playing in the league and was immediately going to the training base for training. After a month of training, the result was that the game was basically not played. Because the players who are in the game are related, there are queues to arrange the time, and there are various factions in it. Even the manager has to change the roster several times. Due to the lack of a good rest in the off-season, coupled with being taken care of by the referee in the Bundesliga league, the players of each team saw themselves infringing on Su Long, and the referee regarded it as invisible, and the attack became more and more fierce. Under such circumstances, Su Long insisted on playing, and naturally he was kicked and broken. Players are sometimes such contradictions. If you're afraid of getting hurt, then it's hard for you to show your skills. But you're not afraid of getting hurt, sometimes you're really hurt. As for the red cards in 2003 and 2004, that is, there are referees who are specifically targeting themselves. In fact, last time, Su Long had roughly guessed. Now after reading this life experience, I am completely sure. Even the smile will be chased, while the defenders turn a blind eye to Su Long's various evil deeds. Su Long could only say that foreign countries were just as dark. The reason is that after 2005, there has been no referee's target. That's because one of the referees was caught gambling on the ball, and it is estimated that the others did not dare to be too arrogant. The incident became known as the 2005 German gambling case. What Su Long couldn't understand now was where he had provoked them. The biggest possibility is that my performance in the last 2 games recently has affected them. It won't be the last time the game was played 9-0. Or is it 5-2 in the last game? Su Long felt that both games were possible. Due to his own birth, the score of both games was very surprising. Maybe that's how it offended them. In the football career that Su Long saw, the OE team did not fail to react to the Football Association, but in the end it was not done. For Su Long's sentences, the German Football Association's reply was that there was no obvious problem. There are indeed some controversial penalties, but they are all miscalculations. The referee, who is not misjudged. As for not seeing Su Long being violated in the game, it is because the referee's angle problem cannot be seen, or the referee's looseness is different. Su Long was helpless, and now the drawbacks of joining a small team appeared. Especially a team like OE, which is small, remote and has no historical roots. It just doesn't have any influence and is left to be slaughtered. If it is a team with some fame, it would not dare to be so blatantly aimed at the top scorer. But now it's too late to say that. If you don't join, you have joined, and it is too late to regret it. The first step now is to find a solution. Let Su Long endure until 2005. Su Long cannot do. 3 years of great youth, wasted on these things. Let's simulate it 2 more times. Su Long glanced at the achievement points, and there were 111 points, enough to simulate 11 times. I hope that within 11 times, we can find a way to break the game. I can't do it, so I use these 11 simulations as much as possible to improve my strength. And then in the following games, score as many goals as possible to brush up on the achievement points. In my new football career, since I know that the referee is going to target me, let's start with a wave of heart. As for the national football team, don't go for the time being, I can't afford to hurt. Simulation, do you use the football career simulator? Use once to consume 10 achievement points. Yes, in 2003, when you were 17 years old, you made your debut on November 17th, scoring a hat-trick in the competition. Later, in the match against Hoffenheim, you were once pushed down in the box and got your first yellow card. But you controlled your temper and didn't turn the yellow card into a red card. In 2004, when you were 18 years old, it took you only a month to jump from second team to first team, with 8 goals, 7 assists plus 3 yellow cards and 1 red card, leading OER to the top 3, but lost in the playoff and failed to successfully upgrade to the Bundesliga. In the same year, on the grounds of groin strain, you refused the invitation of the national youth team for training, and was criticized by many domestic newspapers and periodicals by name. In 2005, when you were 19 years old, at the end of the season, you scored 16 goals in the Bundesliga to help the team upgrade to the Bundesliga. In the same year, on the grounds of the recurrence of old groin injuries, you refused the training invitation of the national youth team, and were criticized by many domestic newspapers and periodicals by name, and your parents were subjected to internet violence. In 2006, when you were 20 years old, you did not score 0 goals in the first 5 rounds of the Bundesliga, and you suffered a goal drought. At the end of the season, you lead the team to relegation to the Bundesliga with 5 goals. In the same year, you really had a groin injury, were blacklisted by the Football Association, typical criticism, and even went on CCTV. In 2007, when you were 21, you scored 25 goals, but failed to lead the team to the Bundesliga. In the same year, you transferred to the Bundesliga team Borussia Mönchengladbach, becoming the first person in the Dragon Kingdom to be worth €4 million. And at the end of the June 7th season, you were relegated to the Bundesliga with the team by 7 goals. In 2011, when you were 25 years old, you had a torn cruciate ligament during the race and went to the Best Scarretti University Hospital in Germany for surgery, the season reimbursement. In 2012, at the age of 26, you transferred to the Senior League team Red Bull on a €2 million contract, and in the key promotion playoffs, you hat-tricked the team to upgrade to the Bundesliga. In 2019, at the age of 33, you suffered a torn cruciate ligament during the race and went to the Best Charity University Hospital in Germany for surgery. After careful consideration, you have decided to retire. Su Long read it and showed a look of joy. The description of the game at Hoffenheim has changed. Not a red card. Episode 25. Not only did the red card threat see hope, but Su Long also found the possibility of breaking through the time point of the 25-year-old cruciate ligament tear. Another tear of the cruciate ligament at the age of 25 shows that the burden of 8 consecutive years in the Bundesliga and above is still too great. From the first few time nodes, in 2012, when I was 26 years old, Red Bull was interested in bringing me in. If I improve my physical attributes a little bit and can safely transition to 26 years old without injury, I can transfer to Red Bull in the Senior League. With the intensity of the competition in the Senior League much lower than in the Bundesliga, it is very likely that you will be over 30 years old without injury. Su Long didn't know if his analysis was right or not, but it was worth trying. End of simulation. You now have physical stats 33, technical stats 30, mental stats 30, and Iron Man traits. Choose one of the four options below. 25-year-old physical attributes, score 35. 25-year-old technical attributes, score 34. 25-year-old mental attributes, score 34. Life experience at the age of 30. Su Long looked at the attributes and guessed in his heart that the requirements of the Bundesliga for technical attributes and spiritual attributes were more than 35. And now the bottleneck of his technical attributes and spiritual attributes lies in 34 points. It has been simulated several times in a row, but it is impossible to adapt to the Bundesliga game. The highest point of technical attributes and mental attributes has been stuck at 34 points. On the other hand, the upper limit of physical attributes is constantly increasing, and it is now 35 points. Choose body attributes. Su Long now wanted to improve his physical attributes as much as possible to see if he could pass the threshold of a 25-year-old cruciate ligament tear. Select the physical attributes of 25 years old. Your current physical stat 35, technical stat 30, psychic stat 30, Iron Man trait. Do you use the football career simulator? Use once to consume 10 achievement points. Yes. In 2003, when you were 17 years old, you made your debut on November 17th, scoring a hat-trick in the competition. Later, in a game against Hoffenheim, you knocked down a defender in the penalty area, scored a goal that was invalid, and got your first yellow card. You couldn't help but scold angrily, and the referee turned the yellow card into a red card on the spot. In 2011, when you were 25 years old, you partially tore your cruciate ligament during the race and went to the Best Charity University Hospital in Germany for surgery, which required 6 months of recuperation. In 2012, at the age of 26, you transferred to the senior league team Red Bull on a contract of €2.5 million, and in the key promotion playoffs, you hat-tricked the team to upgrade to the Bundesliga. In 2019, at the age of 33, you suffered a torn cruciate ligament during the race and went to the Best Charity University Hospital in Germany for surgery. After careful consideration, you have decided to retire. End of simulation. You now have physical stats 35, technical stats 30, mental stats 30, and Iron Man traits. Choose one of the four options below. 25-year-old physical attributes, score 37. 25-year-old technical attributes, score 34. 25-year-old mental attributes, score 34. Life experience at the age of 30. The point in time is still 25 years old, or failed. Wait. Su Long took a closer look and found that the description of the age of 25 had found a change. The cruciate ligament is partially torn, and it's not a season reimbursement. These changes in the description made Su Long suddenly confident. Su Long took a look at the achievement points, and now there are 91 achievement points, and he can simulate 9 times. Choose body attributes. Your current physical stat 37, technical stat 30, psychic stat 30, Iron Man trait. Do you use the football career simulator? Use once to consume 10 achievement points. Yes. In 2003, when you were 17 years old, you were in a game against Hoffenheim, you bumped down a defender in the box many times, got 2 yellow cards in a row, and got your first red card. You can't help but scold and ban 3 more games after the game. In 2004, when you were 18 years old, it took you only a month to jump from second team to first team, leading OE to the top 3 with 21 goals, but lost in the playoff and failed to upgrade to the Bundesliga. In 2011, when you were 25 years old, you partially tore your cruciate ligament during the race and went to the Best Charity University Hospital in Germany for surgery, which required 6 months of recuperation. In 2019, at the age of 33, you suffered a torn cruciate ligament during the race and went to the Best Charity University Hospital in Germany for surgery. After careful consideration, you have decided to retire. End of simulation. You now have physical stats 37, technical stats 30, mental stats 30, and Iron Man traits. Choose one of the four options below. 25-year-old physical attributes, score 38. 25-year-old technical attributes, score 34. 25-year-old mental attributes, score 34. 33-year-old life experience. Su Long was stunned, the referee was too upset. Is the game at Hoffenheim destined for a red and yellow card? The forbidden area. Touch it and fall. Su Long took another look at the 2004 description. The red card was gone, and his goal count was also 21. It shows that the referee did not act as a demon in 2004. What's going on here? Su Long thought about it and decided to see what happened to this simulated life experience. Choose a 33-year-old life experience. Su Long thought about it in his heart, and a large amount of fragment information immediately poured into his mind. After completely watching the life experience of this football career, Su Long suddenly realized what it was. Haha, laugh. That's the way it is, I see. In this football career, the Hoffenheim match actually caused a riot among the OER players. Su Long has been blown many times in the penalty area. Not only 2 yellow cards turned into red cards, but also indirectly blew the goal that was originally an assist into invalidation. The coaches and players on OE side are naturally dissatisfied. In addition to the red card of Su Long, the red card of the second team coach L, there is another player red card. Shortly after the match, the referee was caught. So in 2004, there was no referee to take special care of Su Long, so Su Long's goal count began to take off. I couldn't have imagined that he would kill himself. The card given by this referee may not be directed at me, but at the person who scored the goal. He wants to win this game by more than 2 goals. If I make it harder for him, he's going to have to get a red card, and then he'll make things bigger. When things got bigger, he committed suicide. Su Long thought of this and immediately said, "Simulate again." Episode 26. Do you use the football career simulator? Use once to consume 10 achievement points. Yes. In 2003, when you were 17 years old, you made your debut on November 17th, scoring a hat-trick in the competition. In 2019, at the age of 33, you suffered a torn cruciate ligament during the race and went to the best charity university hospital in Germany for surgery. After careful consideration, you have decided to retire. End of simulation. You now have physical stats 37, technical stats 30, mental stats 30, and Iron Man traits. Choose one of the 4 options below. 25-year-old physical attributes, score 38. 25-year-old technical attributes, score 34. 25-year-old mental attributes, score 34. 33-year-old life experience. Su Long's eyes lit up, and Hoffenheim's description of the game completely disappeared. This means that the red card threat is gone. It means that the impact of the red card on Su Long's football career has been reduced to a very small extent, so it is not mentioned in the description of his football career. Su Long thought about it, or chose to watch the life experience. Choose a 33-year-old life experience. Su Long thought about it in his heart, and a large amount of fragment information immediately poured into his mind. After fully watching the life experience of this football career, Su Long smiled. Sure enough, the first goal in the first 10 minutes, the referee was still hesitating, didn't blow it in effectively, and then the second goal was a long-range shot. If it was blown off, it would be too obvious. Then I passed for 2 seconds in a row, and the referee had to strike. I gave 2 teammates red cards in a row, but they didn't give me a red card, and I scored another goal and had to give me another red card. 3 red cards. Within a month, he was taken away on suspicion of gambling. After watching this life experience, Su Long made a plan in his mind how to deal with Hoffenheim this game. First of all, the first 10 minutes are very important, and the first goal shows that the referee is not willing to do things in the first 10 minutes. Then take advantage of this opportunity to score as many goals as possible. After that, it took a back seat, more passes, more assists. Let 2 or 3 teammates go red first. Preferably Eller is also red, then this matter must be big. There are still 7 simulations and 3 more simulations to see if we can break through the time point of the 25-year-old cruciate ligament tear. Whether it works or not, you can't continue the simulation. Leave 4 simulation opportunities so that you can't simulate in case of unexpected events. Start simulation. Do you use the football career simulator? Use once to consume 10 achievement points. Yes. In 2003, you were 17 years old, and you started your debut on November 17th with 3 consecutive hat tricks, becoming the youngest player on the record. In 2019, at the age of 33, you suffered a torn cruciate ligament during the race and went to the best charity university hospital in Germany for surgery. After careful consideration, you have decided to retire. End of simulation. You now have physical stats 37, technical stats 30, mental stats 30, and Iron Man traits. Choose one of the 4 options below. 25-year-old physical attributes, score 38. 25-year-old technical attributes, score 34. 25-year-old mental attributes, score 34. 33-year-old life experience. The description of the game has changed again. 3 hat tricks in a row. Explained that my arrangement was correct. Su Long was relieved to see that the upcoming red card threat could be completely defused, and 3 consecutive hat tricks seemed to be a record. This is also an achievement point. Choose the physical attributes of a 25-year-old. Your current physical stat 38, technical stat 30, psychic stat 30, Iron Man trait. Keep simulating. In 2003, when you were 17 years old, you scored 3 consecutive games in your debut on November 17th, becoming the youngest player on the record. Choose the physical attributes of a 25-year-old. Your current physical stat 39, technical stat 30, psychic stat 30, Iron Man trait. This time it was successful. Continue simulating. In 2003, when you were 17 years old, you scored 3 consecutive games in your debut on November 17th, becoming the youngest player on the record. Choose the physical attributes of a 25-year-old. Your current physical stat 40, technical stat 30, psychic stat 30, Iron Man trait. The physical attribute has reached 40. If the next simulation does not break through the time point of 25 years old, then do not simulate. Keep simulating. In 2003, when you were 17 years old, you scored 3 consecutive games in your debut on November 17th, and scored double digits, becoming the youngest player to record both records. In 2004, when you were 18 years old, it took you only 1 month to jump from second team to first team, and with 27 goals, you led Auer to a successful promotion to the Bundesliga. In the same year, on the grounds of groin strain, you refused the invitation of the national youth team for training, and was criticized by many domestic newspapers and periodicals by name. In 2005, at the age of 19, at the end of the season, you scored 8 goals in the Bundesliga to help the team successfully relegated to the Bundesliga. In the same year, on the grounds of the recurrence of old groin injuries, you refused the training invitation of the national youth team, and were criticized by many domestic newspapers and periodicals by name, and your parents were subjected to internet violence. In 2006, when you were 20 years old, at the end of the season, you scored in every game of the Bundesliga and you led the team to the Bundesliga with 29 goals. In the same year, you really had a groin injury, were blacklisted by the Football Association, typical criticism, and even went on CCTV. In 2009, at the age of 23, you were relegated to the Bundesliga with the team with 6 goals. In the same year, the head of the Football Association stepped down, the senior management of the Football Association was replaced, and Su Long was invited again, and Su Long said that the old groin injury recurred year after year. In 2011, at the age of 25, you signed with O until 2012, and at the end of the season, you led the team to the Bundesliga again with 31 goals. In 2012, when you were 26 years old, you had a torn cruciate ligament in a race and went to the best Charity University Hospital in Germany for surgery, and the season was reimbursed. In 2020, at the age of 34, you suffered a torn cruciate ligament during the race and went to the best Charity University Hospital in Germany for surgery. After careful consideration, you have decided to retire. End of simulation. You now have physical stats 40, technical stats 30, mental stats 30, and Iron Man traits. Choose one of the 4 options below. 26-year-old physical attributes, score 41. 26-year-old technical attributes, score 35. 26-year-old mental attributes, score 35. 34-year-old life experience. Su Long was silent. After the physical attribute reaches 40, it is indeed the note of the 25-year-old. As a result, I was injured at the age of 26. Well, 26-year-old technical attribute. Your current physical attribute 40, technical attribute 35, spiritual attribute 30. Iron Man characteristic. With this kind of attribute, you can score 10-8 goals in a season in the Bundesliga. So in the game of Hoffenheim on Saturday, I can score a few goals in the first 10 minutes. Episode 27. 7 days later, December 1st, the Senior League matchday. The 2003/2004 season of the German Football Championship has reached 14 rounds. Home side Hoffenheim won 12, drew 1 and lost 1, finishing at the top of the table with 37 points. The visiting team won 2, drew 3 and lost 9 and won 9 points, ranking 14th in the standings. OER's 2 wins were won in the previous 2 games, and before that they were the penultimate in 0 wins. It is located in the city of Sinsheim, Baden-Württemberg. Dietmar Hope Arena. At Hoffenheim, the Hoffenheim fans are huge. Su Long and his teammates were doing pre-game stretching, looking around at the fans, and filling the entire stadium. A high-level league team, there are so many fans. Su Long is also very surprised. That's the German fan culture. Su Long withdrew his gaze, looked at the team members and said, just like in training, when I was caught in the bag, you inserted it forward, and I passed it. In this week's training, Su Long purposefully cooperated with the team members, that is, to train tacit understanding. In this game, the players have to give a hand. As for himself, he is to blast open the opposite goal in the first 10 minutes, then attract the attention of the other party, assist more, and then hand it over to the players. Although he has simulated many times in the football career simulation, Su Long still felt excitement when he actually came to the Dietmar Hope Stadium. Blackpool spoke a little hesitantly. Su, aren't you nervous? Su Long said strangely, nervous about what? So many people watched. Su Long looked up at the fans above the audience, all kinds of banners, with various contents. Hoffenheim is invincible. Hoffenheim champion. Let's go home and breastfeed. It can be said that the home stadium is full of momentum, and the average person standing on the field can feel the heartbeat accelerating. Several fans stared angrily at themselves and shouted, victory belongs to Hoffenheim. Dog X rolled back to the mine. The mine refers to OE, which was originally on the northwest side of the Elsberg and at the confluence of the Zwickauwald and Schwarze rivers, and was a long-established mining industrial center. Blackpool saw the fierce fans and looked down a little weakly. Su Long patted Blackpool and said loudly, what are you afraid of? They scream so loudly to cover up their inner weakness and fear. We are here to arouse all their panic. 10 balls and 8 balls into the horse. Do they dare to scream so loudly? The louder they scream, the more balls we kick in the horse. Su Long said at the end. The voice became louder and louder, and there was no doubt. Blackpool was slightly stunned and nodded violently. When the other teammates heard Su Long's voice, they all looked over, and the anxiety in their hearts dissipated a lot with Su Long's voice. Goalkeeper and Captain Han clapped his hands and said, Su Long is right. Our OE2 team is fearless. Su Long said loudly, "Victory belongs to our second team of OE." Immediately, there was a boo from the audience, with swearing in between. But Su Long didn't think anything of it. Eller next to him watched quietly, thinking in his heart, Su has the potential of a superstar. The body and technology are very good, not the kind of training dragon, the game worm. Mentally, the resistance to pressure in the game is much stronger than that of ordinary players, and the cohesion of the team. This game will be a touchstone for Su Long. At this time, Su Long walked over to Nelly next to the bench. Today, Nelly is the team's assistant and came to the away court with the team to take a video recorder to shoot on the sidelines. Su Long Mei is the name of this game we will win, which will be an important material for our end-of-season review. In fact, it is to preserve the evidence and give the referee a certain deterrent. This is not allowed according to the rules of the game, but the senior league is not so strict. Perhaps it is also because it is not so strict, so the referee dares to be so mad. But the referee would not have thought that this time, Su Long was prepared. Soon, the game officially began. The starters of OE2 and Hoffenheim walked neatly onto the pitch. The fans on the sidelines cheered, and the sound of Hoffenheim was deafening. Hoffenheim coach Frick only noticed OE's number 9 player, Su Long. That number 9 is the Dragon Country player Su, who scored twice in the last 2 games. Frick heard his own game scouts mention the hat-trick of number 9 player Su of the OER team in the first 2 games these 2 days, and he needs to pay attention. But Frick didn't take it seriously, because Hoffenheim's back line this season is from the Bundesliga team. Rice, 30 years old, worth €1 million, was also a substitute for Werder Bremen last season, and was the defensive core of the back line this season. Matthews, Herrad, Ronnie, are all good defensive players worth more than €300,000. This defensive combination worth more than €2 million is the most important reason for Hoffenheim's strength this season. A young player, or a Dragon Country player, has nothing to be afraid of. OER's first 2 opponents, Werder Bremen C is not a strong team, and Goslar is the bottom of the fishbelly team. In the face of such an opponent, a hat-trick is nothing. Hoffenheim's backline will teach him to be human. At the beginning of the game, the second team of OE kicked off first. Blackpool served and the ball reached Su Long's feet, and Su Long fell back to his teammate behind him. The Hoffenheim striker saw the serve and immediately pounced on it like a beast out of the cage. In the face of Hoffenheim's pressing, the players on the OER side were a bit busy and almost lost the ball. The Hoffenheim fans cheered on the pitch, interspersed with scouts from various clubs, observing the O team, who had only 1 goal today. That is the number 9 of the OE second team, Su from the mysterious East. It's only been 5 minutes since the start of the day, and the OER team is a bit overwhelmed by Hoffenheim's pressing. In less than 5 minutes, Hoffenheim had completely pressed OER to play. Suddenly, in the middle of the scramble, Blackpool got the ball. Out of the corner of Blackpool's eye, he observed Su Long's position. This position is very familiar, and when it comes to training, Blackpool and Su Long have worked together hundreds of times. Blackpool had a big kick and kicked the ball straight in front of Su Long. At the moment when Blackpool kicked out, Su Long deceived the attention of the defender with a fake move, thinking that Su Long was going to return to the defense to catch the ball, and got rid of him. Bastard! The first line of defense in Hoffenheim's back line, Ronnie, worth 400,000, rushed back. However, Su Long's speed was too fast, and Ronnie's time to turn around had been thrown away. "Ronnie, what are you doing?" Su Long started too fast, and when he received the ball, he passed the second defender's sliding shovel. Matthews, who was also worth 400,000 yuan, lay on his side on the ground and watched Su Long disappear. The fans on the sidelines suddenly fell silent. At this time, Hoffenheim's defensive core less finally blocked in front of Su Long. Su Long crossed across and midfielder Blackpool and left Barker plugged in at the same time. The fans on the sidelines covered their mouths in horror. No, Blackpool stopped the ball and fired a powerful shot. Bang! Hit the goalkeeper's foot. Ah! The fans breathed a sigh of relief. The goalkeeper was also scolding, "Can you horses defend well?" Before he could finish speaking, he heard Rice's roar, "Watch out for number 9. Number 9? Before the goalkeeper could react, he saw the number 9 player opposite, a fish jump, header on goal. Les in the back had pulled on his clothes, but still couldn't stop him. The goalkeeper subconsciously opened his arms and protected the goal as best he could. I saw the soccer ball draw a wonderful arc in the air, just brushing the goalkeeper's finger and falling into the goal. Eller on the sidelines immediately stood up and waved his fists. On the other side, Hoffenheim's head coach Frick covered his face. He never expected that the back line worth 2 million yuan could not stop a 17-year-old Dragon Kingdom teenager. Su Long slid a shovel, spread his hands, and greeted the curses of the Hoffenheim fans. The referee on the court, Biden, was about to raise his right hand, frowned, hesitated, or admitted that the goal was valid. 4 minutes and 35 seconds, score, 1-0. Episode 28. L, who was on the sidelines, sat back down and smiled as he watched the players on the pitch. The 4-51 formation over the past 2 weeks has been very effective, mainly because Su Long's personal strength is too strong, and one person has penetrated the entire backline of Hoffenheim. When his teammates came up to celebrate, Su Long said calmly, "The situation is developing as we expected. I will attract defensive firepower. You plug in." The crowd nodded. On the other side, Hoffenheim's head coach Frick shouted at Rice, the core of the defense, "Rice, get your spirits up. The game has just begun, continue to pressure them, let them make mistakes." They couldn't hold out for 20 minutes. Les nodded and ran over to his teammates to tell them what the coach had told them and give them confidence. "The ball was my mistake, but it's just getting started. Oh, is not our opponent, as you just saw. We can completely press them to play." The number 9 on the other side is a little weird. "Ronnie, your defensive intensity is going to get up, gone him. Don't be afraid of being breached, I'll intercept him behind you." Ronnie nodded. For this goal, the first feeling of all the Hoffenheim players is shame. It turned out that the second team of OEU, who was at the tail of the crane, scored the first goal. It was still an Asian who was not known for football. This inspires their bloodiness, and they want to get back to the field. Not only the players think so, but the fans think the same way, and they are already singing battle songs. The Hoffenheim players found that today's referee's penalty scale was very loose, and he did not blow the penalty after many fierce fights on his side, so Hoffenheim's attack was fiercer than before, and he was not afraid of fouls. Under the high pressure of Hoffenheim, the players and the ball of OER could not go out at halftime. OE2 even has more than half of its players in the box. The ball was deflected. Header, this ball is actually off the top. The ball hit the upright and the O team was very dangerous. In less than 15 minutes, OE's penalty area has been in danger 3 times. Fortunately, OE's goalpost was strong, otherwise Hoffenheim would have equalized. Su Long went back to make up for the defense from time to time, and it was also obvious that Hoffenheim's overall strength was far superior to that of the second team of OE. Is this the strength of the Bundesliga team? Su Long can only go back to defense, sharing the pressure on the team, while at the same time like a cunning hunter, hiding in the shadows, waiting for the opportunity to kill, giving the prey a fatal blow. In the 31st minute, the opportunity of the second team of OE appeared again. Hoffenheim's passing was mistaken and intercepted by the OER defender, and the ball came to the left wing, where there was almost no pause and went straight to the foot of Su Long on the right wing. Ronnie saw that Su Long easily stopped the soccer ball across the half, and the soccer ball was like a magnet on his feet, and his eyelids jumped. This number 9 technology is good and not as harmless as humans and animals as he looks. Su Long glanced at the defensive player in front of him and grinned. Su Long moved. The defenders followed. Su Long was very skilled at grasping Ronnie's change of center of gravity and easily passed Ronnie. Ronnie, a 30-year-old man, almost staged a horse in front of 5,000 fans. Su Long watched as Les was about to pounce and was about to break through the penalty area when he suddenly remembered that he couldn't do it. If you rush into the forbidden area, you are likely to eat cards. At this time, he saw his teammates on the left wing and the middle of the road plugged in, and a big foot drove the ball into the box. Su Long was knocked down by Les's ferocious blow. Su Long took a moment of pain and climbed up. Extremely minor injuries, Iron Man characteristics reduce injuries and speed up recovery. Fortunately, it was an extremely minor injury, and the Iron Man characteristics basically exempted this injury. Meanwhile, inside the box, Blackpool's header. With a thud, the ball brushed past the column and the top deflected. Header, this ball is actually off the top. Both Eller and the players on the bench stood up, sighed, and sat back. Su Long applauded and encouraged Blackpool, good ball. Blackpool's insertion was good, and the final header was good, but it was a little bit off. No way. The process is good, but whether the result is good or not depends on the sky. That's the beauty of football. Hoffenheim was scared out in a cold sweat. Frick on the sidelines was furious. Where is your defense? Where is the defensive intensity, Ronnie? Him hard. Les said in a deep voice. I'll defend him, Ronnie, you come to the midfield. Ronnie's face was ugly, but he still nodded. It was true that he couldn't defend against the number 9 player opposite, but he didn't think Les could defend the number 9. In the 38th minute, Hoffenheim's midfielder Kufu finally blasted open the door for the O team. 1-1, home side Hoffenheim scored. The otherwise noisy stadium instantly became silent, followed by even greater cheers. The whole stadium turned into a sea of joy, and the fans began to sing the battle song again. Su Long probably heard that it was Hoffenheim who was invincible. Hoffenheim was groundbreaking, and probably this is the lyrics. Hoffenheim head coach Frick raised his arms high and rushed out of the bench with a look of joy on his face. Now it's a equal, followed by a counter over, and completely knock this bottom team down. However, 2 minutes later, Su Long found another opportunity. Les was pulling Su Long and not giving him a chance to run around. Su Long broke free of Rice's hand and ran back. Blackpool, who was plugged in front of the ball, saw Su Long's action and immediately passed it back to Su Long. The fans on the sidelines booed. Su Long crossed a meter outside the penalty area, ran a step, and shot from a distance. The ball hit the thigh of the opposing defender Ronnie. The angle changed, and the goal was directly rubbed against the goalpost. Ronnie covered his face, unable to believe that he had helped Su Long. The whole football field seemed to stop, and the boos suddenly disappeared, followed by even greater boos. Su Long opened his arms to meet the boos of the Hoffenheim fans. Nilly on the sidelines saw the stars in both eyes. Su is so handsome. Episode 29. The referee on the court, Biden, ran over and frowned. Oh, we scored again? This situation is very wrong. Who would have thought that Hoffenheim was 1-2 behind? Biden wanted to invalidate the goal, and he couldn't find a reason. The ball was scored outside the box, and the opponent did not make any movement. Biden glanced at Su Long and was a little flustered. Then I saw that there were still people on the side of the OE team who were filming something with a video recorder. Feeling weak, Biden shook his hand to signal that the goal was valid. The game resumed, and the face of referee Biden was ugly. He bought Hoffenheim for 4 goals in this game, and now Hoffenheim is still 1 goal behind. But seeing Hoffenheim's defense of Su Long increase its strength, so that Su Long could not catch the ball at all, his face became slightly better. Su Long saw that the defenders were very fierce tackles, and the referee did not blow the penalty, so he knew that it was impossible for him to fight for the free throw, and he could only protect himself as much as possible. The halftime was almost over, and the mentality of the players on both sides changed differently. The players on Hoffenheim's side began to be impatient, and they could not accept losing to a bottom-up team like OET. Just when Hoffenheim was making a mistake in his impatient pass, Su Long once again found an opportunity. None of the previous crosses scored, but this time, Blackpool finally scored the ball. However, referee Biden ran up to Blackpool and gave Blackpool a yellow card, indicating that Blackpool had committed a foul in the penalty area. Come, this referee is starting to demonize. Su Long squinted his eyes. Eller on the sidelines, as well as the substitutes, all stood up and said they couldn't understand. It's a good ball, how could it be a foul? Blackpool was dumbfounded, and quickly explained to the referee, and the players of the O2 team all gathered around. However, the referee ignored it and said the goal was invalid. Blackpool couldn't help but spray Biden, and the referee directly pulled out the card. 2 yellows turn 1 red. No. Blackpool's eyes were red and his fists clenched. The players of the O team, even Eller, came up. Syllable. This was followed by another red card. Su Long was surprised to see another persuasive teammate just touched the referee and directly ate a red card. With 2 red cards, the OEU team instantly reduced the number of players by 2 on the field, from a game of 11 people versus 11 people, to a game of 9 people versus 11 people. A minute later, Hoffenheim scored a goal to make it 2-2. The rabid fans in the audience were still cheering, but other rational fans frowned, and they saw that something was wrong. Those scouts who came for Su Long were a look of disdain. Another poisonous worm. A good game was made like this. This pedal horse is too fake. Anyway, the investigation has been completed, and Su has the ability to play the German 2nd division. Are Bayern going to bring in this young number 9? Who knows, it's not mine, I just need to give the scouting report, you dort. I don't know, but the management seems to have some ideas. After all, Su is a Longwa person. Those management are also a pest. Football is football. Business is business. Always put football and business together, making German football smoke my asthma. Soon it was time for first half stoppage time. Perhaps for balancing reasons, this time referee Biden finally awarded Hoffenheim a foul and gave OE a free kick. The players of the O team all looked at Su Long. Su Long nodded and said, I'll take the penalty, you all compress the defense. The crowd nodded. Biden smiled in his heart. What about giving you a free kick? There are only 9 people left, and you can play 4 goals in the second half. When it's time to get to the end of the game, I'll balance it up and give Hoffenheim a red card, and then the referee will have no problem reporting. Just as Biden was watching coldly, his eyes suddenly widened. I saw Su Long's free kick like a cannonball, hitting the opposite player's body. It is opposite the rear anti-right off Rice. With this foot, Les was lying on the grass rolling directly with his stomach in his arms. However, the ball bounced back at Su Long's feet. All eyes were on Su Long's body. And Su Long's eyes now, only Hoffenheim's goal. I saw Su Long's whole body stretched, his right foot bent backwards, and then he kicked at the soccer ball on the grass. Bang! A loud bang exploded in the hearts of everyone. I saw the soccer ball deformed in the air and flew towards the Hoffenheim goal. Defender Ronnie is right between the ball and the goal, but when he saw Rice on the ground, he broke into a cold sweat and his neck shrank involuntarily. The soccer ball, with the roar of the wind just above his head. Sleeper, it's horrible. The next second, he saw Su Long jump up and shout with his arms raised. Ronnie looked back and the ball stopped in the goal. Scored? Su Long shook his arm and shouted. The whole team of OE2 players gathered around. Good looking, Su. Gone him. At this time, the referee Biden quickly ran over and said that the free kick was invalid. Su Long looked at Biden and said, Mr. Referee, this is a good ball. The referee shook his head, pointed to another player, Buck, and said, you have a teammate in an offside position, which affects the goalkeeper and the goal is invalid. Buck squirted out, you. at hashtag UN%, also pushed a referee. Beep. The referee immediately received another red card and sent Buck off the field. You pedal. The players of the O team almost rioted, but in the end they were able to control it. L replaced all the players on the field, replaced them with substitutes, and then comforted the players. Today, this matter, our OE team will definitely appeal to the DFB. Everyone do not be impulsive, everything is according to the rules. I know you're angry, but sometimes that's how it is. You see, Hoffenheim is the #1 in the standings, and we've beaten it like this. Today you are very good. Nelly also came over to comfort Su Long and said, Su, I know you're sad. Su Long waved his hand and said, oh, no, Nelly? Because in the last moments of the first half, the O team was sent off with 3 men, only 8 people on the field, and simply put up the bus in front of the goal. But the 8-person bus could not withstand the crazy bombardment of 11 people. In the 50th minute, Hoffenheim scored the first goal of the second half. The score was 3-2, but the cheers of the fans were staggering, and a boo could be heard. In 92 minutes, the end of the game was whistled and the score was 6-2. In the 80th minute, the referee gave Hoffenheim a red card. The two sides have red cards of 3-1, trying to create a fiery fight between the two sides in the referee's report, and various fouls appear frequently, which is why there are so many red cards. But to no avail, after the December 1st match, referee Biden was denounced by the OER team, and the video of this match circulated on the internet, causing a lot of hot discussion. 3 consecutive red cards were penalized, and 2 consecutive goals were invalid, all of which were clearly taken. At the German Football Forum, the fans could not believe that such a thing could happen for the first time. However, not only the OER fans are talking, but even the Hoffenheim fans have come forward to say that there is such a thing. Things fermented quickly, and even spread to the Dragon Kingdom. Dragon fans are also the first time to see the noble German football. There is also the existence of Black Whistle Black Curtain, suddenly feel that German football is no more than this. Immediately afterward, the handling of the German Football Association shocked the fans of Dragon Country. The investigation began on December 2nd. The judicial intervention on December 9th. And the Special Commission of Inquiry was established on December 14th. A search and arrest of those involved began on December 17th. In one of Twicow's apartments, Biden was packing up his things, scolding, Dog X, how could this be? He hadn't been punished for such a game before, but nothing had happened, and this time he didn't know how to stab the honeycomb and explode at once. Only won €250,000. Do you need this? Biden had a vague regret in his heart, but he pressed €100,000 in that game, and there were other people's bets, and he had to do that. Hey, let's go to Belgium and hide. Damn Dragon man, if it weren't for that mess of constantly scoring goals, I wouldn't have needed this. Biden put all his important documents in his bag, took none of his clothes, and walked straight out of the apartment. Just out of the apartment door, Biden was directly restrained by 2 plainclothes clothes. Biden, you are suspected of participating in illegal gambling activities and have now been arrested. Biden turned pale. Is there some misunderstanding? If there is any misunderstanding, you will speak slowly after you go back. 2 plainclothes men tucked Biden straight into the car. The news of Biden's arrest appeared in the major newspapers and magazines the next day. Su Long didn't expect it to be so fast. At the same time, a nationwide large-scale search and arrest of more than a dozen suspected players and referees. Hoffenheim's top brass players are among them. Hoffenheim, who had been aiming to upgrade the German Propi, collapsed overnight. Episode 30. The German Football Association has been fierce in the past half a month, which is said to be due to the anger of football emperor Beckenbauer. In the 2002 Korea-Japan World Cup, Honjima blacked out Italy and Spain, and in the semi-finals, Hando team versus Germany, Hondao was also ready. But Beckenbauer personally called the FIFA president, presumably to say that if you dare to do something, then I dare not let you continue to be re-elected as FIFA president. This prevents Hanjima's shameless blackball behavior from continuing. Then 2006 will be Germany hosting the World Cup, and now there is such a football scandal in Germany. How can Beckenbauer not be angry? So the emperor was angry, the blood flowed into the river, but also let Su Long see what is the rigor of Germany, but also let the fans of the Dragon country see the difference between the Football Association and the Football Association. The Dragon National Football Association also did not expect that he was also shot while lying down. Obviously, it is a fake game in Germany. Why can the fans still scold me for coming? In this half-month, Su Long followed the team to play 1 home and 1 away 2 games. The first match, December 8th, was an away match between the O2 team against the Munich 1863 team. O and Munich 1860 are both Bundesliga teams, but the difference in strength between the 2 teams is very large. OE is a promotion horse, this season is the bottom, and Munich 1860 is a skinny camel bigger than the horse. How to say that it was once a hegemonic team. In the same way, there are still a few small geniuses worth more than €200,000 in the Munich 1860 team, and the O team is an ordinary player who was not cared for in the C division at the beginning. However, due to the heroic performance of the O team in recent matches, the Munich 1860 team still attaches great importance to this game. The Munich 1860 team felt that they had taken it seriously. In fact, they knew nothing about Su Long's strength. Less than 2 minutes into the opening period, Su Long hit a goal on the top of the upright, scaring the Munich 1860 team. So the Munich 1863 teams chose to pack Su Long, and as a result, Su Long sent an assist, directly bankrupting the intention of the bread clip. After that, the opposite side did not dare to pack Su Long, and as a result, the entire back line was penetrated by Su Long. Su Long has twice been in a row, 3 people, and is celebrating at halftime. Nelly on the sideline screamed excitedly, youthful and lively, and looked at the audience. Eller shook his head, thinking that Su Long's strength was far beyond the level of the senior league, and perhaps after the winter break, entering the first team was the right choice. At the end of the half, it was already a 5-1 lead, directly crying the young goalkeeper opposite. Su Long only played half a game before resting. In the second half, the Munich 1860 team tried to chase the ball, and in the end it was only 3-5, losing to OE. Eho scored 3 points. Immediately after the match, the club manager of Munich 1860 had a meeting with the coaching staff. Club manager Whit Moss asked, "You watched the game video, what do you think of the number 9 of the OEU team?" Head coach Goss frowned and said, "You can see that he has a lot of potential. He is only 17 years old, but what we need most now is immediate combat strength. Gauss, I've said many times, we now need a tall striker with a strong header who can stand inside the box, not a little doll that hasn't grown up yet." Gauss scolded to death in his heart, "I step on the horse to a 25-year-old or so can play a forward, you step on the horse to recommend a 17-year-old doll?" Another Dragon Country player, "Did you guys take money from the Dragon Country Football Association?" That Xiao Jiai had previously said that he was the most powerful player in the Dragon Kingdom, and the result was like that. At most, he was a substitute player. It's not that Dragon Country players can't, the main problem is the language. The language barrier and different cultures of Dragon Country players have become the biggest obstacle to chemical reactions with their teammates. Whitmos frowned and said, "Really don't think about it? His performance in the senior league is like this, it should not be too much of a problem to play in the Bundesliga, right?" Gauss shook his head and said, "The problem is that no one has tried it, no one knows. If he can get a foothold in the Bundesliga, why not OE? What if you can't use it when you transfer over? Is our transfer fee enough to buy 2 strikers? Besides, 4 consecutive games have scored, 3 of which are hat-tricks or more. Such a player, I'm afraid it's not cheap." Whitmos said, "Okay, then let's talk about the candidate for the tall striker. The winter transfer window is about to start. Do you have the right candidate? The one you said last time is too expensive, or consider how of the Dragon Kingdom. Don't choose a European." Gauss scolded secretly, "The whole thing you step on the horse is thinking about money, and the Dragon Country has money, but you have to let me win when you step on the horse." A week later, on December 15th, O2 played at home against Hamburg C. Su Long again scored a hat-trick in 45 minutes, once again helping the team to score 3 points. The little geniuses of the Hamburg echelon, in front of Su Long, were blown to the ground. Also a 17 to 19-year-old, Su Long's style of play was too mature, teasing the players of the Hamburg C team. The top card of the Hamburg C team, Ghana's future star, the little S's who is said to be selling for 4.2 million yuan, was suddenly delirious by Su Long and almost kicked the ball into his own goal. The scouts who watched the game in person at the stadium have repeatedly confirmed Su Long's strength and completely crushed the senior league. His future is not here, but higher and farther away. Even the abused little Isis is worth 4.2 million. So how much is this number 9 genius Su from the Dragon Kingdom worth? After the match, Hamburg's football director Waymanai approached head coach Topmol the next day to discuss the introduction of Su Long. Topmoller looked at Su Long's profile, shook his head, and said, "Vermini, you want to bring in this young player from the Dragon Kingdom, I have no objection, but he may not meet my tactical needs. If it is not appropriate, he may be demoted to the U21 or other lower leagues." In Topmore's view, Su Long's performance in the senior league is too vain, because the level of the senior league is insufficient. It was not without such players before, playing like a world-class superstar in the lower leagues, any hat-trick was easy, but as soon as he entered the Bundesliga, he became a soft-footed shrimp, let alone the Bundesliga. Topmoller is very suspicious of Su Long as this kind of player. After all, the Dragon Kingdom has never had any great stars. I heard that the best players there can only be a substitute in the 5 major leagues, and now Hamburg does not need such a player. Vermini heard Topmoller say this, nodded and said, "Okay, I see." On the side of the O team, after the next day's training, L announced the time of the winter break. The team started the holiday on December 18th and returned on January 1st. See? Don't play too crazy during the winter break, take care to stay in shape. After returning home on January 1st, the playing time is decided according to the training match and the friendly match. The players said happily, "Got it, Mr. Eller." After saying this, L looked at Su Long and said, "Su, Gerd called you." Su Long was stunned for a moment, smiled and said, "Okay, Mr. Eller. Mr. Head Coach called me?" Su Long probably guessed something. 10 minutes later, in the head coach's office. Head coach Gerd smiled and told Su Long to sit down. Su, congratulations on your 4 consecutive hat tricks and a tie to the senior league record. Thank you, Mr. Gold. Su Long thought to himself that the record of 4 consecutive hat tricks also rewarded 10 achievement points. Golder smiled and said, I asked you to come over and ask if you were ready to enter the first team? Mr. Gold, I'm ready. Su Long was excited. First team? I don't know if the Dragon Kingdom has a Bundesliga league broadcast. Can my parents see it? Goldie D nodded with satisfaction and said, very well. Then after the winter break, return to the team on January 1st. You come to the first team side to train. Yes, Mr. Gold. Golder looked at the teenager in front of him and smiled and said, don't be happy so early. The first team is participating in the Bundesliga. The intensity of the game is not comparable to the senior league. You have to continue to train hard. Don't be arrogant. No, Mr. Gold, I will try. Well, you can go back. Thank you, Mr. Gold. Su Long walked out of the office and hummed a hum hey. Quickly use the double cut stick. Bundesliga, here I come.